This morning, Jimmy Kimmel off the air. The host seen leaving his studio last night after ABC announced it's suspending his long-running late-night show indefinitely. During his monologue Monday night, Kimmel made comments about the shooting of conservative activist Charlie Kirk, accusing Republicans of reaching new lows in response to the 22-year-old alleged killer, who authorities say had a leftist ideology.
The MAGA gang desperately trying to characterize this kid who murdered Charlie Kirk as anything other than one of them and doing everything they can to score political points from it.
The comments sparked outrage among many conservatives, including Brendan Carr, the chairman of the FCC, which oversees broadcast licensing for local stations, speaking on Wednesday afternoon, threatening to take action against ABC and its parent company, Disney.
It appears to be some of the sickest conduct possible. I mean, look, we can do this the easy way or the hard way. These companies can find ways to change conduct, to take action, frankly, on Kimmel, or, there's going to be additional work for the FCC ahead.
Soon after, Nexstar, one of the largest television station groups in the country and currently seeking FCC approval for a merger, announced it would stop airing Kimmel on all of its ABC-affiliated stations. Within hours, ABC suspended Kimmel's show. Carr praising the move later in the evening.
I'm very glad to see that America's broadcasters are standing up to serve the interests of their community.
And on Truth Social, President Trump congratulating ABC for, quote, finally having the courage to do what had to be done.
A breaking and shocking news late Wednesday U.S. time, ABC announced that Jimmy Kimmel is being preempted indefinitely after Kimmel's on-air remarks about right-wing activist Charlie Kirk triggered a fast, coordinated backlash. It's not a formal cancellation, but it's a suspension with no return date on the calendar. As of early Thursday morning on the US East Coast, that status hasn't changed. Honestly, at this point, it feels like Trump can remove anyone who does not follow his path and not HO his voice. This is so fucking stupid. What set this off wasn't just outrage from conservative media, it was pressure from inside the government. FCC Chair Brendan Carr publicly warned broadcasters that Kimmel's comments could raise licensing issues, an extraordinary shot across the bow because late-night shows air on local affiliates that the FCC regulates. Within hours, major station groups, most prominently Nexstar, said their ABC stations would pull Kimmel's show indefinitely. Then ABC followed with the network-level suspension. That's a chain, government threat, affiliate retreat, network action. Donald Trump didn't sign a paper ordering ABC to yank the show, but he cheered the outcome on social media and urged other networks to sack their own late-night hosts, framing it as a long overdue victory.
In a world saturated with information, finding the truth requires unwavering dedication and independent voices. America Facticity stands as a beacon for factual, unbiased reporting, delivering the stories that truly matter. Join our membership for just $9 a month. Your support helps us grow our team and create even better content. Find the link in the description below.
By an ABC spokesperson saying that Jimmy Kimmel will no longer be on the air. Let me show you what Jimmy Kimmel said during a monologue on Monday. I can't play it because then ABC would make a copyright claim despite trying to destroy the show and destroying the show. So let me just read for you what Jimmy Kimmel said. He goes, "We hit some new lows over the weekend with the MAGA gang desperately trying to characterize this kid who murdered Charlie Kirk as anything other than one of them and doing everything they can to score political points from it. This is not how an adult grieves the murder of somebody that Trump called a friend. This is how a 4-year-old mourns a goldfish, okay?" And then he shows this clip right here of Donald Trump when he was asked, "What are you feeling right now about Charlie Kirk? How are you mourning the loss of your friend?" And then Donald Trump said in the White House lawn, we covered this. Remember, we covered this last week. Donald Trump said, "Take a look at that ballroom. We're building a ballroom right there." So that's all that Jimmy Kimmel said, that the right wing was so offended by, that MAGA was offended by, and that now his entire show has been canceled because he showed this clip and said what I just read. Here, just play the clip of what Trump did. Here, play this clip.
How are you holding up over the last 3.5 days? I think very good. And by the way, right there, you see all the trucks. They've just started construction of the new ballroom for the White House, which is something they've been trying to get, as you know, for about 150 years. And it's going to be a beauty. It'll be an absolutely magnificent structure. And as just see all the trucks. We just started, so it'll get done very nicely, and it'll be one of the best anywhere in the world, actually. Thank you so much.
So here was the release by Nexstar ABC affiliates to preempt the Jimmy Kimmel Live show. This comes from Nexstar Media Group. Company objects to talk show hosts' comments on killing of Charlie Kirk. Nexstar Media Group today announced that the company's owned and partner television stations affiliated with ABC television network would preempt Jimmy Kimmel Live for the foreseeable future, beginning with tonight's show. Nexstar strongly objects to recent comments made by Mr. Kimmel concerning the killing of Charlie Kirk, and will replace the show with other programming in its ABC affiliated markets. Quote, Mr. Kimmel's comments about the death of Mr. Kirk are offensive and insensitive at a critical time in our national political discourse, and we do not believe they reflect the spectrum of opinions, views, or values of the local communities in which we are located, said Andrew Alford, president of Nexstar's broadcasting division. Continuing to give Mr. Kimmel a broadcast platform in the communities we serve is simply not in the public interest at the current time, and we have made the difficult decision to preempt his show in an effort to let cooler heads prevail as we move toward the resumption of respectful, constructive dialogue.
Celebrating isn't the same as formally directing, but in politics, the message sent and the power dynamics behind it matter as much as paperwork. So did Trump force ABC, not in a narrow, legalistic sense. ABC is a private company, it can program or suspend a show, but context matters. When an administration's FCC chair publicly threatens broadcasters over content and the president publicly eggs on the punishment of a critic, that's government-adjacent pressure bearing down on editorial decisions. The result is indistinguishable on your TV screen from a political hit. That's why this isn't just ABC made a call. It's a call made under obvious political heat with regulators looming over the licensees who carry the show. Is this an attempt to silence a critic? It certainly looks like it. Kimmel has been one of Trump's most consistent primetime critics, and the celebratory reaction from Trump world tells you the quiet part out loud. They view the suspension as a scalp. They didn't need a formal order if the threat environment could get them the same outcome. That's soft censorship, the kind that works through intimidation, not injunctions. Is this an assault on free speech? The First Amendment technically restrains the government, not private networks. But when a government official with direct sway over broadcasters' licenses publicly dangles consequences over show content, we're in the neighborhood of a constitutional problem, even if it never gets litigated. You don't have to win a court case to chill speech. You just have to make the risk calculus scary enough that executives hit pause. That's what we're watching here.
Let's be very clear. Charlie Kirk was never in favor of the resumption of respectful and constructive dialogue. Charlie Kirk spoke about hate. He talked about his hatred of black people. He talked about his hatred of gay people. He talked about his hatred of trans people. He called for former President Biden to be executed. He said he wouldn't want to go on a plane with black people or being flown by a black pilot rather. Over and over again, Charlie Kirk has spread hate. He said that black jurists like Michelle Obama and Ketanji Brown Jackson and others didn't have the mental brain power or capacity to truly hold their jobs. It's a direct quote from Charlie Kirk. He said that the civil rights movement was a complete mistake. So spare me the constructive dialogue. Charlie Kirk was a hate monger while he was alive. Now, we condemn in the strongest terms violence, but let's not rewrite history about what took place here. And by the way, I read for you the transcript of what Jimmy Kimmel said. That's the whole thing that they're getting rid of Jimmy Kimmel over. Like, what did he say there that was wrong? I still don't see what he said there that was incorrect. He's a comedian. He's allowed to do jokes. And really, Donald Trump was the one who was asked, how are you mourning? And he points to the ballroom and says, I'm building a ballroom. He can't even himself express sympathy. Now, the chairman of the FCC, Brendan Carr, wrote the following: I want to thank Nexstar for doing the right thing. Local broadcasters have an obligation to serve the public interest. While this may be an unprecedented decision, it is important for broadcasters to push back on Disney programming that they determine falls short of community values. I hope that other broadcasters follow Nexstar's lead. Now, Brian Stelter, reporter, asked for comment from the FCC chair, Brendan Carr, and Brendan Carr sent a GIF of The Office of the characters raising the roof, celebrating the termination of Jimmy Kimmel. Right-wing media influencers like Benny Johnson are congratulating Nexstar for canceling Jimmy Kimmel, and ABC Disney, thank you for standing up for Charlie. Now, earlier in the day, you had FCC Chairman Brandon Carr go on the Benny Johnson show to threaten Nexstar, to threaten ABC Disney, to threaten their local affiliate licenses, as well as the merger between Nexstar and their largest rival, Tegna, in a merger that would make Nexstar the largest owners of local TV stations. And Trump's FCC got involved there, and then Nexstar clearly caved very early.
FCC Commissioner Ana Gomez, the lone Democrat on the panel, accusing the Trump administration of setting a dangerous precedent.
We must be careful not to allow the government to punish critics simply because of content.
Kimmel's suspension comes 2 months after CBS announced it was canceling their late-night show with another Trump critic, Stephen Colbert. CBS saying it was a financial decision. Over the last week, a growing number of people have been fired or suspended for their public comments about Charlie Kirk, something the vice president encouraged.
So when you see someone celebrating Charlie's murder, call them out. And hell, call their employer.
But some say what's happening now is a double standard.
Conservatives for many years now have claimed that they are the free speech champions. They have railed against so-called cancel culture. And now you're seeing them lead the campaigns to cancel people that they disagree with.
So Liz, where does it all go from here?
Yeah, well, Craig, it's unclear right now how long ABC plans to keep Jimmy Kimmel off the air. NBC News has reached out to Jimmy Kimmel for comment. He's not responded, and so far he has not said anything yet about this suspension. Last night, many ABC affiliates aired Family Feud during his normal time slot. Outside the theater where Kimmel tapes here on Hollywood Boulevard, supporters say they're planning a protest in support of him later today, Craig.
All right, Liz Courts for us. Liz, thank you.
Hey, thanks for watching. And don't forget, you can catch the Today Show every morning on NBC or take Today when you're on the go. Just follow the Today podcast on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you listen.
A couple of clarifiers to keep the record straight. First, what ABC has done is a suspension, not a permanent cancellation. The network says indefinitely, which is deliberately vague. It keeps its options open while the political temperature is high. Second, the affiliates moved first. Nexstar's group statement announced it would preempt Kimmel on its ABC stations. Once the nation's biggest station owner takes that step, the network's own suspension becomes more likely because the show's national footprint is already fractured. That sequence matters. It shows the leverage point isn't just ABC headquarters in Burbank. It's the regulated local stations the FCC can squeeze. Where does this go next? 3 levers to watch. 1, ABC's timetable. If the network reinstates the show quickly, it signals backbone and reinforces a norm that comedy and criticism, even edgy, sometimes reckless monologues, don't get regulated off the air. 2, the affiliates. If they keep Kimmel blacked out even after corporate greenlights him, that's a sign that FCC pressure did its job at the ground level. 3, the rest of late night. If other hosts pull punches this week, the chilling effect is already spreading. My take. Bottom line, no. Trump didn't sign an order that forced ABC. But yes, this is plainly about silencing a critic through political pressure and regulatory intimidation. It's a stress test for American free expression in an election year media ecosystem where the referees, appointed officials with real power over broadcasters, are stepping onto the field. Whether you like Kimmel or can't stand him, you should want the joke, the jab, and the rebuttal to play out in the open, not in the shadow of government-authored threats. If networks and station groups normalize suspensions under that kind of pressure, it won't end with one monologue or one host. It becomes a playbook. As of overnight in the US, that's where things stand. Pressure applied, show suspended, president applauding. The principle at stake is bigger than a punchline.
And remember, if you like what you see, hit that subscribe button.